Hey, y'all, Shane Sams here. Thanks for listening to the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast today. Man, I absolutely love doing this podcast. Every single week, we bring a real member of the Flipped Lifestyle community onto the show. We celebrate their wins, we celebrate their success, and we help them take their online business, their membership to the next level with a coaching call. Then we let everybody listen in so they can learn how to do the same. Our goal is to help you start, build, and grow a successful online business and change your family's future. Super excited about my guest today. His name is Chad Allen. He's got an awesome online membership where he helps authors write their book proposal. Chad joined the Flipped Lifestyle community and subscribed to my Membership Masters newsletter back in March of 2021. And in just 4 months, he has managed to grow his membership 3 times its size. He started out with just under 100 members, and now he has over 300 members in his membership community. That's what happens when you're inside the Flipped Lifestyle community, y'all. That's what happens when you subscribe to that newsletter. And that's what happens when you take massive action for your online business. On today's podcast, we're going to celebrate those big wins with Chad, and we're also going to help him with some strategies and tactics to help him keep all those members and get more members and grow. We're going to talk about the power of trials today and how trials can be the gasoline on the fire for your online business. We're going to talk a lot about strategy and tactics for retention. We're going to talk about how to get those trial memberships to renew and start paying you month after month. And we're also going to talk about how you can take a one-on-one coaching mindset into your community and how you can scale that to go one-to-many, serve your people, make them feel loved, and keep them around longer. Hey, Chad's a great guy. This was an amazing podcast to record. I know it's going to help you grow your online business too. You're going to get inspired. You're going to take action. You're going to leave today's show motivated and ready to go. I'll be back here with a couple things right after my interview with Chad Allen. You sit back, turn that volume up, and enjoy the show. Welcome to the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast, where life always comes before work. We're your hosts, Shane and Jocelyn Sams. We're a real family that figured out how to make our entire living online. And now we help other families do the same. Are you ready to flip your life? All right, let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. It is great to be back with you again today. Super excited to be hanging out with another member of the Flip Lifestyle community so that we can help them take their online dream to the next level. And I've got a great guest for y'all today. You're going to learn so much in this episode. It's my good friend, Chad Allen. Chad, what's going on, brother?
Hey, man, it's great to be here. I'm a longtime listener of your podcast. So to be on your podcast is like a real treat. So this is awesome.
That's amazing. And it's funny because the reason we even got to know each other is because we have a mutual friend. So I got to give a shout out to the OG Grant Baldwin, the Speaker Lab himself. He sent me a message one day and he was like, man, my buddy's trying to start a membership, trying to grow a membership. And he's like, and all you do is talk about membership. So could you tell him about memberships? I was like, send him on, son. Chad Allen over there, man. So give a shout out to Grant here.
Yeah, I'm so grateful to Grant for sending me your way. It's been a great journey.
All right, man. So we're here. We're here to talk about a lot of things. We were talking off air a little bit. But we're here to celebrate some success. So you've been in our world now since about March. It's about July of this year. You've been hanging out in the Flipped Lifestyle community, getting the Membership Masters newsletter. And when you came in, I think you had about 100 members or so. How many members do you have right now?
Over 330, right around there. So yeah. In 4 months. Yeah.
That's unbelievable, man. Would you have ever thought that you could just grow a membership? Like you'd have 300 people paying attention to you every single month?
I mean, the vision is even bigger than that, but to think I could triple my membership in 4 months, no, I never thought that was possible.
That's awesome, dude.
So I'm grateful to you and all the things that you've learned along the way and you share with others. So.
Man, I love this model because it just not only can you make a great income and not only do you get to connect with amazing people, but you really feel like you're making a difference in the world when you're out like doing your thing. And we're going to talk about your thing here in just a second. When you're out doing your thing and other people are learning how to do your thing and you just see hundreds of people. I mean, when you start talking 300, 400, 500, I mean, imagine being in a room with that many people. You can really see the impact and the ripple that you're making out in the world. With your membership. So, but we'll celebrate that more. We're going to talk a lot about it today, but go ahead real quick for everybody listening to the podcast. Tell them about you, Chad, your background, and just tell them what you are doing online in your membership.
Sure. So I spent 20 plus years in the traditional book publishing industry. I started as a freelancer and then worked my way into a corporate job. I worked for Baker here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, Baker Publishing Group. I was a project editor overseeing the copy editing and proofreading processes. Then I was into acquisitions. These are the editors who bring books under contract. The last 7 years of my time there, I was the editorial director, sort of overseeing the publication of over 70 books a year. And a little ways into that, I decided to start a blog. I had some things to say. Part of the story there is in my corporate job, I had to say no to writers a lot. No, your platform isn't big enough. No, your concept isn't strong enough. No, your writing isn't compelling enough. And so I started this blog as a way to say, yes, you can do this. With my corporate hat on, I had to say no all the time. But I knew that on the side, I could start to say yes and equip writers. I knew that if I could just spend a little bit of time with them, I could help them make their books a reality. So that led to first a course. We talk a lot about courses versus membership sites. Started with a course for me, then one-on-one coaching, and then it all kind of culminated in this membership site that I now have called Book Camp.
Awesome, man. Yeah. And what's your website, Chad?
ChadRAllen.com.
Yeah. And the cool thing is, like, I do talk a lot about courses, and I think I used to be like a kind of a me versus them with the course people kind of thing. I'm actually going on a podcast here in a couple of weeks to debate a course creator, and we're going to debate memberships versus courses. Like the podcast, I can't tell who it is, but the podcast host is going to moderate the debate. So I can actually do this. But it's funny because my stance is kind of like it's not all or nothing. I think that everything works together almost like a wheel, right? Mm-hmm. But I do think that the hub of the wheel, the best hub of anybody's wheel is a membership community. Because if you've got 300 people in your membership and they're consuming courses, they're hanging out in community, and they're following your lead, when you do have a new course that really does need to be a standalone thing, you've already got built-in people that you can sell it to and that you can serve with it. And memberships, man, one of the big side benefits that we've seen in a lot of our membership owners in the Flipped Lifestyle community is that they were coaches and they love coaching. Like I still have 2 coaching groups that I meet with on Mondays because I want to keep that heartbeat with our community. Like I've got a group with people from 0 to 100 and members, and I've got a group for people who have members of 100 and over. And it's really small, really tight. I don't open it very often, but I never have to worry about filling it. And that's what coaching people have always told me is like, man, once I started the membership, I could get a coaching client anytime I needed it. I just had hundreds of people in my membership ready to go. So I actually see it as like an ecosystem now fueled by the membership where you can get all of those things in action. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think all of that's really fascinating. Just these different models that are out there, and we keep learning what works best. But to your point about coaching, in the Membership Masters newsletter, I don't know if it was 2 or 3 months ago, your advice was open up 10 coaching spots, charge 5 times your normal monthly rate, open up 10 coaching spots and see what happens. So I did that, and 9 of those spots were taken. And then
that's incredible.
One of those people went ahead and signed on as a regular one-on-one client. These people pay me $1,000 a month. So like without one promotion, just to my members, that was what happened.
And you didn't have to do a bunch of discovery calls. You didn't have to do anything else. All that trust is already baked into your membership. So now it's just like, let's hang out. Right? You don't have to do all that other stuff. God, man, this is just getting better and better, Chad. I didn't know that part. You didn't tell me that in the old form you filled out before you came on the show today, man. I love it, man. I just love hanging out with people, dude, who take action. I love, we always say, like, people always ask me, like, does this stuff really work? And I'm like, if you do it, right?
Yep.
And you have taken massive action, and I want to help you take more action, man. I want to help you grow it. So tell me about the makeup of the membership now. Tell me where you're at. Well, hold on. Let me step back a little bit.
Sure.
Let's do one more thing quick. Normally, I ask people like what mindset issues are holding them back, right?
Yeah.
But I want to back up a little bit to right before you got involved in the Flipped Lifestyle community. When you first were building the membership and you got to near 100 members, and like, how are you feeling? Were there any mindset issues before you got into the newsletter, before you got into the community, that were holding you back then? Because I know a lot of people out there, they got a few members and they're like, is this really going to work? Is something going to happen here? Like, what was holding you back before you got in the community? And like, how did the community help you bust through those mindset issues?
I love that. Well, I think a huge thing, when I first started it 4 years ago, there was this huge burst of energy, lots of people in there and so on. And I don't know, I was just trying to figure it out. I was really, really on my own. And I tried to, you talk about, you just want to hold on to what you've got,
Yeah,
and
right.
So that's kind of what I was doing. I was in that pattern of just like, I don't want to lose any of these people. Instead of a growth mindset where it's like, let's just keep growing it. Let's keep ahead of churn, et cetera. And so I think that's been a massive shift in my mindset. But from, before Flip Lifestyle to now, it's like you just layer in these promotions. You keep on growing. If you're not growing, you're dying,
right.
kind of a thing. And the other thing you gave me permission to do is email your list every day about your membership. Now, I can't say I'm doing it every day, but I sure as heck am doing it a lot more regularly than I used to.
4 out of 7, man. Live in the majority. Yeah, it ain't got. Exactly. I say every day is the goal. That's like the best goal, and then like 5 times a week is the better goal. Yeah, the good goal's 4 out of 7. If we can get it the majority of the time, we're solid.
Yeah. Well, you talk about being what are they? Consistent. Prolific and relentless. I mean, all 3 of those words are kind of saying like, keep doing it, Yes. And so that's been huge. Just giving myself the permission to let my people know. Sure, keep providing value, but in the process of that, I just sent out an email this morning. Thank you, Shane Sams, where I pulled up this podcast interview I did with Jeff Goins a while back. It's one of my favorite interviews that I've ever been on. And I just talk about, hey, here's a great interview. Here's a bulleted list of the things we talk about. By the way, if you're interested in this, we have this membership site. So there's huge value, and there's a little bit of a pitch at the end. And I just keep doing that. So that's been huge.
But give your. I always one of the things that we learned early on was, I used to work 9 to 5 jobs. I used to be a school teacher. You got a paycheck every 2 weeks. You get paid on Friday. Stupid thing ran out on Thursday, right? Like every single time, right? And you had this and I remember looking at my pay scale as a teacher, and like it was on a railroad track. I mean, it was like, this is your raise. This is how you're going to get paid until you die. Like that was it. And I remember the first thing I discovered with the membership model. We would send an email, we'd get a couple members, be like, oh, that's $100 more a month. We'd send an email, we get a couple more members. I mean, oh, that's $100 more a month. And I looked over at Jocelyn one day and I said, do you know that we have the power to give ourselves a raise every day? We literally have that power. If we just sell every day, we could give ourselves a raise every day. And if we just serve our people, they'll stick around. So the floor keeps getting higher. Like the lowest amount of income you can make. I mean, our floor all of a sudden was higher than other people's ceilings. And I was like, gosh, that is an unbelievable superpower that we have available to us, not just through online marketing, but through the membership model. Is you can literally give yourself a raise every single day, but you've got to commit to doing it. Like you don't just try this, y'all. Right. You do this, y'all. And once you start doing it, like great things happen. All right, so you're doing it, man. You've got over 300 people in your membership, and we've been growing these through these monthly promotions and the Membership Masters newsletter. But one thing that we do focus on a lot in our marketing is trials. We use a lot of trials because, a lot of people want to sell, but we're just like, hey, look how awesome it is. If we'll just give it to you for a period of time, you'll be able to do that. But on the backside of trials is a different game. Service, community. You got to make those people that raised their hand stick around. So talk to me a little bit about these trial members. Talk to me a little bit about what you're feeling right now with retention. I know I felt a little stress in your voice as we were starting the conversation, man, when we were off air. So tell me about that. Tell me what you're thinking right now about the retention and how it feels to have all these trials sitting there and you're like, oh my gosh, are they going to stick around?
Yeah. So, What's amazing is as I work with my virtual assistant on stuff, like suddenly now we're talking about, okay, there are members who are paying and then there are members who are on trial. So we have these like two different groups of people that we're tracking, and we're trying to obviously, so there's like, you talk about getting people off of your list into your membership. Well, then it's getting people from just being in the membership to actually being active paying members in the membership. So that's been a big evolution. So so the two biggest promotions I've ever done came from Membership Masters newsletter. One was a 90-day trial that brought in 60 some members, and then the no credit card allowed trial.
No credit card required.
No credit card required. That brought in 130 new members. So the 90-day folks, that is coming to convert here in the next few weeks. So I'm obviously working on, what do I offer to keep serving these people? What is the email I send that lets them know, hey, your subscription's about to renew, and we trust you've really enjoyed this. Here are some things that So I'm figuring that out. And then how do you convert people whose credit card you don't have? By the way, I did do the 1 penny upsell that did bring in, I think it was like 20 to 30 people.
Oh, that's great. I mean, once they type in the credit card, I don't care if it's a penny or $100. Like they're in. Like, because people will not. They're stingy with that credit card, man.
Yeah, I know.
Did you have any quarterly upsells on the back end of the pennies?
I did have one, not many. I had one or two, but that did do the quarterly. But man, that's amazing. That's
yeah. See, so think about that. So let me back up and go over the trial philosophy first, okay?
Sure.
I really, about 2 years ago, I was coaching an amazing woman in the Flipped Lifestyle community. Her name's Blair Green. She runs a website called farmerpreneuracademy.com. She helps pharmacists add services to their pharmacies, because with the commoditization of drugs, they're becoming pill pushers. Basically, they're just how fast can you pack pill bottles? The margins are getting thinner and thinner, but pharmacists are legally allowed to offer all kinds of services, everything from vaccine shots, which is hugely relevant right now, to other stuff, right? So Blair helps people make a ton more money in their pharmacy by adding these services. Well, when I met Blair, she had this amazing course, the courses again. And she was trying to do a membership because she had been listening to Membership Masters, but she had this she'd been listening to Flipped Lifestyle. And she had this I don't want to call it a scarcity mindset, but it was almost like a hoarding dragon sitting on the pile of gold mindset, where she had this amazing community set up. It was awesome. It was laid out well, so much content. She had an awesome little forum area. She was listening to us and doing what we told her, access to her through Q&A, all this cool stuff was going on in the membership. But she had this $1,000 join fee, almost like you were coming into a country club. And I told her, I said, Blair, it's like you built the greatest palace inside the greatest castle with the most beautiful wall around it, and then you put heads on spikes on top of the wall and built a moat and filled it with alligators. Like you literally stopped people from going and seeing this amazing thing that you created. And I was like, you gotta drop that, and you gotta let people in on a trial. She goes, oh gosh. She goes, you mean just let them in? I'm like, yes, because when they get in, they won't want to leave. That's the beauty of the membership. So she does this. She's so scared to death to do this. So she took off her join fee. We came up with a good trial offer. And she was in I tell this story when I teach her about Blair in live events. So she was just, I call her prim, proper Blair Green. Like, she looks all professional, prim, proper, professional Blair Green, right? But I said, no, here's what you're going to do, man. You're going to get a sweatsuit on. You're going to pull back a ponytail, and you're going to go rub some dirt on your face. And I want you to go out, and you're going to film a video with your phone and do it up and down. Don't even do it sideways. Act like you don't know what you're doing. We came up with this promotion. It was it was a time capsule where Blair knew what was going to happen in the next 5 years of pharmacy, and she put it in a sandwich bag. It wasn't even a real time capsule. It was like a piece of paper folded up in a sandwich bag. She's like, I'm going to bury this, and in 5 years, I'm going to dig this back up, and I'm going to prove to you what is wrong. But I'm going to tell anybody that's a member what's happening now, so they know. And so we did this promotion. It just exploded. She did 25 grand in a single month. And she wasn't making any sales before because she blocked it off. So that was when I was already into trials, but when I saw that happen with Blair, I was like, wow, this is where we need to go. And trials have been a key point of growth for us and everybody ever since then. But the problem, with getting all those people in is you do have to serve them. And
Right.
I heard you say something. I wrote it down when you said, I got these paying people and I got these other people, right?
Yep.
I think that mentality you need to wash away now.
Okay.
They're all members. They're all members. They're all here. They're all paying. They paid something. They paid with their credit card, information. They paid with their money. They paid with their name, their email, their phone, whatever. They're there. And that takes some pressure off of you now to just be like, wait a minute, serve one community in one way and do it at such a high level that everyone wants to stay. Right. So that's the first thing I would definitely offer you to do that. Now let's talk tactically about how to keep them.
Sure.
There's three things that I focus on when I'm trying to keep my people at the end of a trial: discounts, bonuses, and community. Discounts, bonuses, and community. You have got to still help them. We're recording, man. You're going to be able to listen back to this. It's okay.
All right.
No, you're right. But discounts, bonuses, and community. So the first thing is discounts. You need to offer them a couple different discounts until they take something, right? One of the best discounts that we've ever had, and this is the only way to get any kind of monthly discount in our thing, is like a loyalty discount. When people take a trial, you can actually put it right on that original order form. Hey, we have a loyalty bonus. If you try it for X days and you love it and you stick around, we'll give you a 10% monthly bonus. It's a great little discount. You're rewarding commitment. I don't ever just discount anything. I always reward commitment. You come to commit to me and I'll commit to you. Right. So that's a great bribe that you can use at the end to be like, hey, it was this coming in, but now if you'll stick around, I'll give you that. But I think a better way to do it is to sell them a quarterly discount.
Okay.
But like really go hard on trying to get them to commit for 3 more months, especially on those 90-day trials at the end with some kind of discount. There's a lot of integrity in a length-based discount like quarterly, 6 months, or annual, because you can reward them up front for the commitment with a discount and it doesn't touch your monthly rate.
Right.
So you don't have to worry about your monthly prices being different for different people.
Sure. Yeah.
So that discount would go really hard in like I'd say if there was a 10-day period before renewals, you need to be email. There's like 10 days out for 7 days, you need to be pushing like a quarterly discount. Like, hey, if you'll commit now, I'll give you 25% off at your monthly rate for a quarter. Try to scoop up a bunch of quarterly people. Okay. The next thing I would do those last couple days is go all in and try and do an annual. All right. If they don't respond to that, then give them an annual price. That's maybe a little bit bigger of a discount because they're committing for longer. Okay. And then you're trying to scoop up a couple other people. All right. So that takes care of what I would call the early adopter people, the people who are like, I love this. I've been here. Might as well jump all in.
Sure.
Does that sound good?
Yeah. Yep.
Sound good? So do you have quarterlies and annuals set up anywhere with a discount that you could go ahead and schedule up?
I have quarterlies set up, and it wouldn't take much to do. I'm using Kajabi as well.
That's 5 minutes.
Yeah. So it's easy. Yeah.
So focus on that first and clear out anybody you can so they don't lose it. Okay. But now we've got people that reject quarterly and annual, right? So these are our monthly people. These are the people who are going to renew normal monthly price, whatever they do, right? And we're going to talk about the free no credit card people separate.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
So anybody left, offer them bonuses, right?
Okay.
Maybe you have, and bonuses don't have to be like huge things. It can be like a couple extra trainings that you don't have. Maybe for you, it could be like, hey, anybody that renews in the next 7 days, a free book proposal review or something. It doesn't have to be that. I don't know how long that takes.
Sure.
Maybe a title. Maybe you can just review their titles for them or something.
Yep.
But offer all those monthly people some kind of like immediate fast action bonus.
Okay.
And say it's only good this month. It's only good for this. You can rotate those each month so you can use them generally. But what could you offer as a fast action bonus to get those people to pay that next payment?
Yeah. So I have a $97 thing that I call the book proposal power pack. And it's 3 book proposals that have won book contracts. It's the book proposals themselves plus videos on why these proposals worked.
Perfect.
So that's an easy bonus.
Yeah. And you can, when you do these promotions in the future, you can already schedule these emails to be ready to rock.
Right.
So you can just link that as soon as you get it. If they renew, the first email they get is this done.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
So this isn't something you have to like constantly do. It can be baked into the email thing.
Yep.
And then the next thing that I do for renewals is I really, really focus heavily on reminding them that there's a community. That a lot of people want to, say you're getting all these courses. A lot of people say, wow, you get to hang out with me. I'm so cool. Right. Like in their membership, but like, that's not what it's all about. Like you need to remind them, hey, then you can constantly telling your members, all of them, the next Q&A is coming. Constantly reminding people, hey, go log into my Facebook group or forum. So automate some emails right before, whenever you make a promotion, if you know it's going to be in 29 days, they're going to renew. Like day 29 needs to remind them you're not alone. Literally put that in the subject line. Hey, Bob, you're not alone. Here's our next community events. And you're sending out an email that says, don't forget our member calls. Don't forget our Facebook group. Don't forget those things.
That's really good.
If you remind them they're not alone, quitting makes you alone. Quitting makes you really, really alone.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So they're not going to be as inclined to quit. Okay.
That's good.
All right. The next big thing is just remind them that they're about to be charged. Like people who would have paid you will quit because they got charged and didn't remember.
Right.
If you'll just remind them, a couple days before.
Yep.
One, they'll probably email you if they want to cancel, and you can say, hey, we'll totally cancel, no problem. But is there anything we can do to keep you around?
Sure.
And you'll be shocked how many people say, yes, there's a couple things you could do. I'm like, done. Do it.
Yep.
You're now a customer for life.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. That's good.
So discounts, bonuses, and communities. Those are the community reminders. That's the biggest things that we do to try to keep people on any kind of free trial, 90, 60, or 30 days, 45 days, whatever it is.
It's really helpful. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the no credit card required people. Now, this is a different animal. The penny people would count as the same as they've already paid. So so basically what happened, guys, there was in Membership Masters last month, we did this free no credit card required membership. The upsell was immediately like, I'll give you 60 days for a penny, right? But that was that gets them to type their credit card in, and you got 20% of your people to do it. So that's great. Those people count the same as a paid thing, this paid trial. Okay.
Got it.
The no credit card required people, it's kind of like at church when the pastor's like, everybody bow your heads and let's pray for a minute here at the end of the service. Now, and then he goes, now, guys, listen. I know some of you've made decisions for the Lord today, and I know you have. So everybody's head bowed, everybody's eyes closed. Could you just raise your hand right where you are? And, he sees a bunch of people slip their hands up because they think nobody's looking. And then the pastor goes, all right, everybody look up. And everybody's got their hands still up. They don't know what they're doing, right? Like, that's kind of like no credit card required people, right? Like, you got them to raise their hand, but they were a little uncertain. And, they're like, what's going on around here?
Yep.
So these people need to be treated just a little bit different, need to be like served well. So what I really want these people to do is reply to me a lot. That's the kind of the strategy we're using. So if you got a no credit card required thing, I'm constantly sending emails that are like, what's frustrating you? How can we help you? I've got to find what their objections were because they clearly want it. They clearly are interested in it, right? So they are people you need to survey, send them emails, invite them to reply, right? You can segment them in Kajabi like a little cohort.
Yes.
Send them an email that just says, hey, name, what's frustrating you? Hit reply and let me know. Right.
That's really good. Yeah.
And you're constantly digging with those people to get them to tell you something because everybody's one question away from renewing your membership. So if you can get as many of those questions throughout the trial period as possible and actually serve them, whether it's your customer service agent or they're going to get a lot of those people to take the next step. But here's the trick. Well, it's not a trick. I don't want to say trick. Here's the key. Like when they do reply and you reply back to them, immediately give them something to type in that credit card. You see what I'm saying? So like, hey, I saw you didn't take the penny upsell. Would you like another shot at it? I answered your question. Reciprocity. PS. Type it in. Okay. Or getting closer to renewal. Hey, I saw that you only got a week or two left in the membership. Why don't you go ahead and grab a quarterly plan? Give you a 25% discount, right? So this is much more personal, but again, it scales because it's email, basically.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that personal attention from me, just over and over again, I see that produces sales. So,
it's weird though.
Yeah,
when you give them personal attention, they don't need it as much once they commit. I don't know what it is. It's like some weird phenomenon. Like it's like you inducted them into the tribe, so they don't really need to talk to the chief every day after that.
Right.
Like they're cool. Right. The trust is built. They see there's other people and they start mingling a little bit. And you're just helping them take their next steps like into the journey. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, man. Okay. And then there's one more big thing with the no credit card required people. They require at the end of the trial area, like you're not gonna be able to get it perfectly because it's, your trials are, you did this promotion over like a 4 or 5 day period and whatever. They need a webinar. That cohort of people needs a special webinar that is a sales webinar to resell them into the community. Right. So they've gotten to go to the Q&A. They've gotten to go to the thing. So you're going to send that cohort specifically a message. I wouldn't even send it to your whole list at that time because I really want to dial in. I would almost, those two, like even with 100 people, I would just use Zoom where they could all be on the screen. Like I wouldn't use a webinar software or anything. And I would have a special cohort meeting for them. That's a webinar to sell them into the thing. And at the end of it, you can pitch all 3 offers, have your monthly price, have your quarterly price, and have your annual price, and give them all an option to continue along with you by typing in their credit card.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That's
heavy
great.
Q&A. So that should help you get a lot more of those trial members that have already put in their credit card. And those strategies can also be really, really good for the no credit card required. So how's that for some retention for you? Does that sound good?
It sounds great. It's just now it's like, how do I mean, and I find this whenever I'm getting tactics is there's 1,000 different things I could do. So how do I simplify this into something that's really doable, practical, et cetera, with just me and my little team? You know what I mean?
Amen. Yeah. The whole Flip Lifestyle organization's ran with me, Jocelyn, and 3 other people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like it's, and then we have partners and contractors that we team with.
Of course. Yeah.
And what I always tell my team is, y'all quit trying to figure out the best decision. Make the next decision.
Yeah. That's good.
There's a lot of decisions out there, but like all these things are basically that I just gave you are, guys, can we pour a pot of coffee and over the next 2 days, build out these emails for the 90-day people? And then can we pour another pot of coffee on Thursday and come up with a webinar for all the no credit card required people? Like that's it, man. It's just sitting down for a week, batching some emails, and then planning a webinar and sending an email to your list. That's another powerful thing about emailing every day. So many people get overwhelmed by launches and things like that. But sometimes we'll have a launch and I'll just be like, y'all, I'm just going to wake up at 7 o'clock and write the emails. I don't feel like doing it right now. Right. So I get up, I email the list, I show up for the webinar, I pitch. Right. Yeah, man. So just write down all the decisions, forget the best one, do the next one. Yeah. And you got plenty of time. You still got a couple more weeks on the 90s. The new credit card, the no credit cards are still there.
Yeah. So, Right.
Makes sense?
Yeah. Thank you. That's awesome. I didn't know this podcast interview would turn into a coaching call, but I really appreciate it.
Hey, that's how the Flip Lifestyle podcast works, man. I don't mess around with it, dude. Like, hey, listen, we invented this podcast to serve our people. Like, that's what we're here for, man. I get to hang out with you. I get to celebrate, Chad, your success. Everybody else gets to be inspired by your awesome growth, 3X in a few months. And then we all get to just hang out and talk about memberships and come up with and share best practices.
That's awesome. Well, I look forward to sharing what exactly we end up doing and what the results are, and hopefully that'll be helpful to the community.
Love it, man. Well, listen, Chad, man, I appreciate you, dude. I know sometimes, when we start digging into weeds and stuff like that, people are like, oh, man, we're on this podcast. There's a bunch of people listening. But, man, your story is incredible. It's an awesome story of what happens when you take action. And I just appreciate you for talking business today, man, being vulnerable, talking about things you don't know, helping you figure out things you do, you now know, and then other people get to listen in and hang out too, man. So I appreciate you, dude.
Thank you. Thanks, Shane.
I'll have you back on when you 3X again. Deal?
Oh, good. Let's do it.
No pressure.
Part two is to come. Awesome.
All right, y'all. That wraps up my interview with Chad Allen. Man, what a great story of somebody coming in, grabbing life by the horns and just taking action and seeing the fruits of all that labor just manifest right in front of him. Gosh, Chad just joined a few months ago, y'all. And he now has 3 times the members he had when he started in his membership. Imagine having 300 people paying you $50 every single month. That's what's possible on the internet. That's what's possible with online business. And that's what's possible when you start, build, and grow a membership site. We'd love to help you just like we helped Chad inside the Flipped Lifestyle community. You can get started for free inside the Flipped Lifestyle community right now. All you have to do is go to FLIPPED lifestyle.com/free. And we've got a free tier of our membership where you're going to be able to go in, find your idea, overcome all the obstacles and challenges that are holding you back, hang out with other members of the community, and start, build, and grow your own online business. Plus, maybe you've already got an online business. Maybe you've already got a membership. Well, you heard Chad talk about the Membership Masters newsletter today. That is my print newsletter that I mail out every single month to membership owners. And I literally give them a day-by-day calendar of how to promote and market their membership. I personally sit down and write every single word in that calendar and in all the articles. Jocelyn proofreads it for me. We print it right here on site. We got a commercial printer in our office. And my kids, Isaac and Anna Joe, pack it with love and ship it out to all of our subscribers every single month. So if you want to get and keep more members, you need to check out the Membership Masters newsletter too. You can learn more about the Membership Masters newsletters at my personal website, shanesams.com. All right, y'all, that is all the time that we have for this Flipped Lifestyle podcast. But before we go, we always share some scripture with y'all. You know what I mean? A couple Bible verses. Jocelyn and I get a lot of our inspiration and motivation from the Bible. There's a ton of stuff in there about life and business. And we love to share a little bit of that wisdom right here on the podcast every single week. And, you know, Chad's story today made me think about multiplication, man. Chad, was just trying to hang on to what he had, and he didn't feel like he had a lot, and he wasn't really in a growth mindset before he joined the Flipped Lifestyle community. But then he had this growth mindset, and he saw that not only, yes, could he grow, could he keep more people, but he could multiply, and he could serve so many more than he actually thought he could. And that made me think about the miracle in the Bible where Jesus feeds the 5,000. So I'm just going to read a little bit of that for you today. In Mark chapter 6, picking up in verse 35, the Bible says, by this time it was late in the day, so his disciples came to him. They said, this is a remote place. It's so late. Let's send the people home so they can go to their countryside, their villages, and buy themselves something to eat. But Jesus replied to them, you give them something to eat. The disciples laughed and said, that would take more than half a year's wages to feed all these people. We can't serve this many people. Jesus replied, how many loaves of bread do you have? Go and see. They came back and said, 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Then Jesus directed them to have all the people sit down in groups on the grass. So they sat down in groups of hundreds and 50s. Taking the 5 loaves and 2 fish, looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke the bread. And then he gave them to the disciples to distribute to the people. They all ate and were satisfied. And the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces. The number of people fed that day were 5,000. Y'all, this is an amazing story about serving your community. You may think you don't have the resources to grow. You may think you don't have the talents or abilities or skills or wisdom to go out and serve 200, 300, 400 people in your membership. But just like the disciples, man, look around. Stop looking at what you don't have and see what you do have. Open your mind to the possibilities of serving more people. When you lean into that faith a little bit, you may end up shocked at what's possible for you, your membership, your online business, and your family's future too. All right, y'all, that's all the time I have for this week. Thank you so much for listening to the Flipped Lifestyle podcast. If you love the show, do us a favor. Go over to Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. Tell us what you think about the show and what you love about it. Me and my wife, Jocelyn, read every single one of those reviews. Share a couple episodes and tell a friend, and we'll keep coming back here every single week to serve you well. That's all the time I've got for today, y'all. I'll see you next week. Until then, get out there, take action, and do whatever it takes to flip your life. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Trying to make things happen over here, Chad Allen. Trying to make things happen, son.
You are making things happen for sure.
Right, you, man. We're here to talk about you, and I'm here to talk about me. Your membership's killing it, man.